Nice affordable clothes. Step right up.
Come. Merhaba. It's a good day for a purchase. May your purchase bring you joy.
Don't pass.
My mother liked the story of David and Goliath. She said it doesn't matter how small you are, you can always overcome any obstacle. Now it looks exactly like it was a decade ago. I can almost feel the memories hitting me. What a monstrosity! Where could such a creature even survive? Oh, I remember now. I never liked the way the books were sorted on these shelves.
That you didn't. Your brother often struggled to find his reading materials after our visits.
I'm watching you closely, Mr. Holmes.
Nice to see you.
That was the third in a row.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
I guarantee we'll have a good time.
My goodness, Sherlock, they made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Gahors at a guess.
Hey, handsome. I see that look in your eyes.
I'm so excited about the event.
Oh, hey, handsome. I see that look in your eyes.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
Huh. You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. A time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
Pfft, that's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Vogel's gallery has a backer, I see.
Honey, you feeling lonely? I'll be your friend.
Nancho's had to enforce the masks.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
Do you know what was here before Manchiosa's family bought it? Do you know?
I'll pin them down with this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock. Curtains do not guarantee privacy.
And you still need a crack, despite being ethereal. Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower? Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones. Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
Let Fabio speak for himself.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
This crude tattoo partially covers as slave branding. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood. A blunt-force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage. The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here. This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion. An open wound spoiled the carpet. Why don't people tidy up after themselves? Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not-so-sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened. The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain. Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
How can anyone accept such behaviour?
This is a different ritual. A useful tool for a disguise arsenal. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains. Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains. This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry. The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars. Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right, then pull yourself together, Werner. What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh. Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
Filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil... Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh, yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer, too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. A bloody handprint on an armchair. The wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Could you help me?
No, I've never heard of it. But I can help you with something else.
Is this familiar to you?
I can't help you with that, sir.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock. You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
My husband thinks I am playing bridge here. Let me see that stallion up close.
I'm so excited about the event. Oh, I heard the finale will be splendid.
Do not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfolded.
Let me see that stallion up close.
I need a rest from my insatiable wife.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Could you help me?
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
Help me, please.
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
My husband thinks I am playing bridge here.
Excuse me, just one question.
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos. The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not. So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps, perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here. I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all. The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry. I know you can untangle this mess.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on? Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
You committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. You're great.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in this letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Ah, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
Back on track to solve the case.
Look, I found Werner.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers. The new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first. You are so focused on cleanliness that these products are severely damaging your skin.
I would laugh at you. Ha! If only my cheeks didn't hurt. Not exactly. I try to take care of my body. A young man who has yet to confront his own aging couldn't hope to understand.
These chemicals are quite literally melting your face.
Ah, the price of beauty. I'll be fine. I'm sure of it.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see.
That's not something I know much about. 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 You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that. I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else. It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protégé and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him. I can't wrap my head around... Such a tragedy at my party.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite. Sometimes.
This area is restricted.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table. I'm busy. You've already used up your quota of me helping you.
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring. A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room. That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library. The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Not the time for privacy. An emergency kit for boredom. Werner's personal sketchbook. Thank you, officer.
This area is restricted.
I've read this letter from Fabio. It had no addressee, but it was found in Mr. Vogel's pocket.
Werner? Strange. I didn't think the two of them corresponded.
I'm sure there is some explanation. Would you care to read it?
Call me superstitious, but I don't care to read a letter from a dead man.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to add. I've nothing to add. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to add. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to say. I don't know what to say. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to say. I've nothing to say.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but it refuses to let me analyze it.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood, and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so. Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. Do I know him?
The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
So the police found a letter from Fabio in your pocket?
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities.
Oh, what a long day.
You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. I've nothing to say about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
This area is restricted.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds. You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always, Fabio-centric?
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these. Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protégé wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high. I've no idea about that.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchos.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché.
Please let me out.
This area is restricted.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchos?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchos?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at...
party.
Please let me out.
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
I know I can handle the news.
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Continue our investigation while I... look at the papers. Continue our investigation while I look at the papers.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
Please let me out.
Are you done yet? Can I leave? I know you can untangle this mess.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned. You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
early 60s,
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
The young performer played with your emotions. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You struck him, and then you staged the ritual. You planted the letter in Vogel's pocket and attempted to set up Matista.
What poppycock? Sherlock, stop this game now.
There is no stop word, Mr. Manchios. Relax and enjoy it. I'll pass the remainder of this case to Constable Oswald. He'll know what to do with you. I have a name for you. Kurt Manchios.
Is that so? The Master of the Sabbath?
The man himself. Mr. Manchios couldn't stand to lose control over his lover. A deadly revenge that deserves a proper sentence. I have all the evidence to charge him.
A degenerate and a murderer. I'll make a name thanks to that for sure. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable. garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Oh,
Sherry,
you did it, Sherlock! The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo!
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
It was the best decision I could obtain. The truth must be told in the way it is most acceptable.
You're making progress, Sherlock. I was right to believe in you. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity, and it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
I get enough obnoxious pontification from my brother, so please, spare me your lecture.
Forgive my love for moral philosophy. I know I tend to ramble. You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
I'm watching you closely, Mr. Holmes.
Magic is all the rage these days.
Who do you think you are, barging in here like this? Another hack writer from the Chronicle, here to mock my misfortune? I will not tolerate your lampooning.
I have no intention of mocking you, and I am no hack writer. My name is Sherlock Holmes.
Holmes! The name sounds familiar. Are you perhaps related to that brilliant young man, Mycroft Holmes? My late husband, Sir Ralph, spoke very highly of him.
Yes, indeed, he is my brother. I am sorry for your loss, Lady Gruber.
Loss isn't the word for it. It's an outrage. It was a black pearl necklace, not some mere bauble.
Actually, I meant your, Never mind. What happened exactly?
What happened? I was robbed, for heaven's sake. While my guests and I were enjoying the amazing Alonso show, a thief broke in through the window and stole my necklace.
Do you suspect anyone? One of your guests, perhaps?
Good heavens, no. My soirees are strictly for Cordona's creme de la creme, very far removed from the debaucheries of that libertine Lady Calf. Do I suspect Lady Vaughan, the governor's own cousin, or the Right Honourable Lord Crane, or Lieutenant Colonel Wolfe from Dorset? Preposterous!
It was a magic show, yes?
Oh, yes. Alonso turned cards into butterflies. An impressive spectacle. Everyone loved it. Lieutenant Colonel Wolfe became so excited he had a coughing fit. I had to send him to the guest room to catch his breath.
I'd like to take a look at the crime scene.
Please go ahead, Mr. Holmes. I haven't touched anything whilst waiting for the police. Those laggards do take their time, don't they?
The audience don't notice the secret compartment hidden behind all the cards. Pushing this button swaps the upper and lower compartments and releases the butterflies. Signed by someone from the audience, I think.
Ah, this Alonso enjoys changing faces as much as you do.
A hint of gravitas for my wardrobe. This bedroom looks more like a treasury.
Or a dragon's lair. Even asleep, she's guarding her precious hoard.
The glass and the locking bars are intact, the windowsill is perfectly clean. These cards are carefully arranged. The thief is trying to tell us something. All the other jewellery is untouched, but why?
This butterfly must have seen something. Come on, little chum. Spill it.
How did it get here? The Lieutenant Colonel picked the lock to the bedroom and opened the window to make it look as though someone broke in. The thief didn't break in through the window, as he would have you believe, Lady Gruber. He picked the lock of the door from the guest room. It seems as though Lieutenant Colonel Wolfe has sticky fingers.
But why would someone of his station commit such a crime? He's a reputable man, a commander of the Dorset Regiment's 3rd Battalion.
Did he introduce himself to you as such?
Why, yes. He was such a debonair gentleman, a brilliant raconteur.
And an impostor to boot. A thief in wolf's clothing, so to speak.
But, Mr. Holmes, that is a serious accusation.
The Dorset Regiment has only 2 battalions, Lady Gruber.
What are you saying? I need to sit down.
Well, you know, I may catch the thief yet. Until then, I bid you farewell.
Extra, extra! Handsome homicide! A young Adonis... Interested in some Cordona news? Check the front page. You won't regret it.
Nice to see you.
Magic is all the rage these days.
My apologies, but I am not in the mood for visitors. Not after the debacle that was my last auction. Stolen from by my own valet. Bitten by the viper I nursed in my bosom. Oh, the indignity.
Oh, drama indeed. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and I could help you get to the bottom of this.
Sir Finley Lane, philanthropist, industrialist, art collector. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Holmes. I suppose I could use your help, if only to confirm my suspicions about Vincent.
Could you tell me more about Vincent?
A scoundrel with one leg and two faces. He's been my valet for a dozen years. Who would have thought that he would stoop so low as to steal from me?
Vincent has only one leg.
He lost his right leg in the Crimean War, but despite his age and his peg leg, he's actually quite spry on his foot. I took him in, gave him a job, and this is how he repays me.
What happened at the auction?
I intended to sell the gem of my collection, Cordona cypresses, to fund an orphanage. God knows we need to take some of these poor waifs off the streets. To entertain my guests before the bidding, I arranged a magic show. When it was over, I went upstairs to the gallery, and it was gone. The cypresses were gone!
Did your guests enjoy the show?
Oh, yes. The amazing Alonso is well worth the money. The orange trick was nothing short of amazing. Everyone was completely enthralled.
So you suspect your valet of stealing the painting?
There's no one else to suspect. He's the only person other than myself who was upstairs that day. He had asked for a day off only the night before, so I was a little surprised when he came here just before the auction.
Did he tell you why?
Something about a damaged wallpaper roll. I'm refurbishing some rooms, you see, but that's his job. I don't bother myself too much with the details.
I'd like to take a look upstairs where the burglary took place.
Well, you look like a decent man, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to my gallery. It's the only copy, so please don't lose it.
Pretty big for an orphanage. An ambitious project. These must be the names of the contributors.
These are real sweet-smelling oranges, not props.
Secret compartments are hidden amongst the fake foliage. Nothing but a clever illusion. There are traces of concealer on the rim. Pushing this button makes the oranges grow within seconds.
Oh, someone spilled the paint. Mind your step, Sherry.
The paint splatters on the plank and floor don't match up.
Fella's only got one leg. Can't blame him.
Right, footprint, size 9. The frame is intact, he took only the canvas. It doesn't matter who squeezes the oranges, what matters is who gets the juice. Cordona cypresses, Angelo Cicchetti, 1840. The end's in Miner's End. The end of what?
Of some miners, apparently.
The thief entered the house disguised as Vincent, removed his fake peg leg, and walked across the plank to the gallery where he stole the painting. Your valet is innocent, Sir Finlay. In fact, he wasn't even here on the day of the auction.
But I saw him with my own eyes.
The man you saw was disguised as Vincent, with both his legs present and extremely capable. As you were engrossed in the show, he walked across a plank to the gallery right above your heads. An acrobatic feat of no mean proportions.
My good old Vincent, in truth, I didn't doubt him for a second. Do you know who the brazen thief is?
Not yet, Sir Finlay, but rest assured I will find him.
I would be much obliged if you'll recover my painting, too. Just think of all the urchins who would get a chance at honest work.
Wait a moment, I thought you were planning to fund an orphanage, not a workhouse.
Bah! Workhouse. What an outdated notion. The orphans will be fed, clothed, and educated. Yes, they will also learn an honest trade. What's the harm in that? Surely it's better than picking pockets and begging on the streets.
With all due respect, Sir Finlay, this is exploitation of child labour, no matter how you look at it.
You're entitled to your opinion, sir, but the fact remains the painting belongs to me, and what I do with it is nobody's business but my own. Thank you, and good day.
Magic is all the rage these days.
Well, aren't you a dashing young man? May I ask your name?
Sherlock Holmes at your service.
I'm Lady Carr, but please, call me Miriam. How have I never seen you at any of my parties? Oh, you've missed out on so much fun. The latest one was a blast. First, a magic show, and then, to everyone's surprise, an audacious burglary.
I beg your pardon, Lady Carr, but why are you so excited? Wasn't it your house that was burgled?
Let me ask you, have you ever witnessed a crime at a party? Of course not, but my guests have. Oh, it was a night to remember. Everyone's gone home, but at least I have these fine gentlemen here to keep me company.
This looks quite lax for a police investigation.
I'm sure the officers are eager to sink their teeth into the case, but I thought a small aperitif wouldn't hurt. Nothing like a little champagne to get the brain working, I say.
Could you be more specific? What exactly happened?
Well, there were drinks and hors d'oeuvres, followed by more drinks, of course. And then we gathered to watch the amazing Alonso saw himself in half. Oh, it was breathtaking. Some guests had to be revived with smelling salts. Then I invited everyone upstairs to see Abel's collection of curios. And there, someone had stolen Abel's treasure.
You mentioned a treasure.
Frankly, I have no idea what it is. Some kind of shell the size of a dinner plate. Didn't look that valuable to me. Abel brought it back from America, a place called Massachusetts or something.
You mean Massachusetts?
Yes, Massachusetts, that's what I said. He's been strangely obsessed with it ever since. Locked it inside a chest like some treasure. Poor Abel, he's going to be so upset when he returns.
Who is Abel? Your husband, I take it?
Yes. My Abel is a famous, what do you call it, astrologist. He travels the world, digging up saucy sculptures, old chamber pots, that kind of thing. You boys and your silly hobbies.
I'd like to take a look upstairs where the burglary took place.
Certainly, be my guest. Such panache. You have to see it to believe it.
Sir, I only just washed the upstairs floor. Just stay down here
Gosh,
until
I
it
feel
dries.
sorry for the housemaid. Lady Carr certainly spares no expense. This deceptively simple box is actually an elaborate apparatus. Alonso must be a short, lean person to be able to fit inside. An industrial-looking saw, I imagine it's fairly loud. The saw was working for several minutes to build up tension in the audience. This ribbon bears faint traces of soot. Short brown hair without a root.
Well, there ain't any rabbits in this hat.
Shards of a broken bottle. That must have been one wild party. I'm not half bad, am I? You have to admire the gall.
just doesn't make sense. Why haul this machine up here if one could just steal the chest?
It looks like a leaf from a fruit tree. Botany's not exactly my forte, but it could be a pomegranate, possibly?
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
To saw the chest and mask the sound, the thief used the same equipment as in the magic trick, and at exactly the same time.
Are you quite certain that you don't want a drink, Mr. Holmes?
That's it, a pomegranate. Are you able to help me?
I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
This ladder's pretty long.
Long enough to reach the first floor. These gardening clothes look dirty, but those aren't grass stains. It's paint. These are fake. Large boot, size 9. The rubber is very thin, too thin for actual gardening work. I can tell you how the crime occurred, ma'am, but first, if you'll indulge me, you don't have a full-time gardener, do you?
No, I don't. Why, do you think the lawn needs mowing?
Your lawn is perfectly fine. I just wanted to confirm my theory. The thief was disguised as a gardener in order to blend in with the servants. He used a ladder to climb up to the first floor and later escape.
But the sawing? Surely we would have been alerted by the sound.
Ah, this is where it gets interesting. You see, the thief timed it precisely to match Alonso's performance. Evidently, he knew the trick inside out.
Golly gosh, that makes it even more extraordinary. Mr. Holmes, you are a delight. You absolutely must come to my next shindig.
I can't think of anything I'd rather do less, but this investigation is far from over. Farewell.
Have you found anything helpful?
You must be the amazing Alonso.
Sir, if you want to book a show, unfortunately that is not possible. All of my props have been confiscated until further notice. And if you're here to ask me about those burglaries, I have nothing to add to what I've already told the police. It wasn't me.
I am investigating the burglaries in Grand Sarre. The clues led me here, and what a coincidence that you are here also. Except that I don't believe in coincidences.
Believe what you like, sir. I don't know about your clues, but I'm here seeking answers the same as you. The person behind this knows my tricks well. So well that it's uncanny. The thing is, I used to practice here back when the atelier was in business. Some of my props are still in the basement. And the answers are too, I think.
What are you waiting for then?
Look around you. This neighborhood is a criminal's paradise. The building is overrun by bandits. What should I tell them? Don't mind me, fellas, I'll be in and out.
Let me compliment you on your disguise, especially the mustache.
Thank you kindly. I wouldn't call it a disguise, though. Alonso is my stage persona. But the moustache is indeed fake, guilty as charged. Mine is a slow grower.
Miss, please, I can see that you're a woman.
Very well, I am a woman. So what? I've learned all my own tricks. I want to be taken seriously, rather than as someone's jumped-up assistant. Do you really think that if I didn't put on this act, I'd bask in the glory of being the world's first female magician?
Actually, that sounds quite plausible.
Huh, that's easy for you to say. Sometimes, if we want to be true to ourselves, we have to pretend to be someone else. My friend told me this once, and I think that he's right.
It strikes me as rather dubious reasoning. Who is this friend of yours?
A close friend, who recently arrived from France. Let's leave it at that. You may have exposed me, but I simply don't see how my personal life is relevant.
Fine. I'll go inside and see if I can find something. Don't go anywhere.
I'm coming for you.
Take a rest, my friend.
I'm coming. Watch this.
The snuff's ready. Time to...
No more crime for you until next month.
In your dreams.
Ow! Take a rest.
Give him the pepper snuff.
I'm gonna hurt you.
He's all yours now. Go for it.
No more crime for you until next month. Take a rest, my friend.
Time to knock this guy out.
Don't cry, you'll live.
I missed the party.
Don't
Give him the pepper snuff. So little light for these little fellas.
The saw was tested on different materials, most meticulous. Timed to perfection. The same oranges as we saw at Lane's house. These must be the diagrams of all the magic tricks in the amazing Alonso's arsenal.
You're getting warmer, Mr. Holmes. Warmer still. Join me at the fireplace. Warmer still. Join me at the fireplace.
Cordona cypresses and a bonus wallpaper roll.
So, what did you find?
You won't like what I have to say, but you deserve to know. Your French friend, Arsène Lupin, used this place as a hideout.
No, that can't be true. He's staying at Il Palazzo del Luce. He's there at this minute. But how do you know his name?
It is my business to know things, miss. He is the thief. This was all some twisted joke to him.
No, this is just... This can't. He was the only one who understood me. He said that he loved me.
I don't believe that you'll ever see him again. He has slipped away from the island.
Good riddance to him, then. All men are the same, aren't they? They come and go, leaving nothing behind but lies.
Well, he also left the stolen painting. It would be best if you return the painting to its rightful owner, Sir Finlay Lane. You will clear your name, and he will build his orphanage.
You are right. I will do that. I never asked your name.
It's Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
I am Melinda Teller. Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
You're welcome, Miss Teller. Good luck.